Second JB5s Mystery Challenge, Day 5 Technique. This is Day 5 of the second JB5s Mystery Challenge. Here we are already on Day 5. Today is finishing day, where we put the final touches on the page. Be sure to listen to my summary comments at the end of the video. Hi, we are ready to put the finishing touches on our page. This is Day 5, so I'm calling this the finishing touches. I did not get a chance to stamp with my architectural stamps yesterday, so I'm going to work on that. And then I want to work a bit more on the back. So let's just get started. I just love how I have my A here, and I flip it up, and that A is replicated on the inside. It's also over here, except for it's backwards, and it's not quite as obvious. So I'm going to work on the back of this A. I'm putting a piece of wax paper down here across my border, so whatever I do on the back will not get transferred to the front there. I'm going to start out, again, I think with my blue Bic Market marker. That's what I made my lines with. I'm outlining the edges of the inside back of that A, which is the reverse, just to make it coordinate with the outlining of the A on the front of it and on the inside letter. This is a free play page. If you want to doodle on this page, put some doodles on it, you can do that. I decided to put some stamps on that, and you'll be seeing that in a few minutes here. I think I'm going to stamp with my architecture stamps in this area. I'm choosing the stamps that I want to use from this architectural set. This is by Stampin' Up. I'm using Ranger's Archival ink. And I believe there was a Samantha Wright who suggested I put a mouse pad behind my stamping to give a more crisp image, and that works a lot. Thank you for that tip. So if you want to do something different on this, this is a free play page. If you want to draw or doodle or write, do whatever you want on this page. This is a free play page. But I like the stamps. I like how they go with the theme. Very happy with this. Now, I want to credit Johan. So I'm going to put quote by Johan Van Gogh. So I get out my food ball pen, and I'm drawing outlines along those Stampin' Up architectural stamps, just to give them a little bit more emphasis. I really like how these stamps go with the theme of the page. They just add so much to it. I like what is happening here. I like this entire area here. I don't think I'm going to do much more to that. I do like this because it matches these arches here. So I decide to stamp that archway right there beside the other dictionary illustrations, and then I use the cornice stamp in the top and bottom left of the page, and then I go to the back and stamp the same thing on all four corners on the back, just to set it off. I'm really happy with how this is taking shape. I'll be doing more work here on the back. Now on the front, I decide to bring out those stamp images even more by adding some more stain, but I have to tell you, later on, I wipe it all out. I don't mean to, but it just happens. I may go back and add it back in because I do like how the color accentuates the stamped images. See, I do the same thing on the back. On the back, I think they are a little bit more evident. I want to block off an area here, and I am going to use my dip pen to make some lines. So I get out my metal ruler and my ink pen and my black magic ink, and I'm drawing those lines, and you can see it smears and smudges. The lines aren't perfect, but I like it. I will blot it and let it drip and go ahead and do the rest of the lines. I'm just blocking off an area, and I really like the distress look. Football pens are made to write over most surfaces. I've noticed that they have written over most of the surfaces that I've tried. They write over gesso, they write over acrylic. The only thing that I've found that they do not write over is screen printing ink. A layer of screen printing ink just will not receive. It will receive other paint, but it won't receive even my football very well. So what I want you to do is journal on the back. It does not have to be a page and a half. It does not have to be a lot. I want you to journal your thoughts about the theme that you chose. I chose architecture. It kind of chose me. This is a quote by obviously a famous person. I want to journal my own thoughts. I do not think about architecture a lot. It's not what I study. I appreciate it. The word appreciate. I'm going to dwell on that word appreciate. Let's see. First, I'm going to put the date. October 25th, 2015. Second JB5s Mystery Challenge, Meridel Abrams. Appreciating architecture. Whenever I walk into a tall city building, a home in the suburbs, or a simple shed, I think of the people who designed and built the structure so that we can live in them and enjoy them. Meridel Abrams. Now I decide to go over this all in black, and while I'm doing that, I want to say just journal your own thoughts on this page. If your page is too rough, you might want to use a separate sheet of paper and journal on it, but just write your own thoughts about your theme and sign it and date it. That's all you need to do. Put your own touch on the back page. One last thing that I want to do to this page. You are going to kind of have to look at your own page and make the decision of whether or not you want to do it. It kind of depends on the work that you did on it and the colors you used, but I need some brown around the edges of my pages here. This is optional. So get out my walnut distress stain, and I'm distressing all the edges on the back and on the inside and on the front on those letters there. And you'll see that it almost gets too dark for me while I'm working. And so you'll see in a minute here where I get out my water spritzer and I'll spritz that out. Here I do. And I spritz it out and I wipe out some of the blue that I put on those stamped images. But that's okay. I'll take care of that later. I am really happy with how this turned out. On day 5, just credit him with that quote. We outlined in blue around the reverse of this letter A. I stamped on here with my architectural stamps. You can stamp or doodle, or you may not want to do anything to this area. It depends on what you have here. Just leave that as an optional play area to you, but I wanted to use my architecture stamps here. I'm very happy with them. And we worked on stamping on the 4 corners here, drawing lines around the borders, just kind of set it off. I knew that my dip pen, I used a dip pen and ink, and I knew that some of that ink would bleed, but I just blotted it. I do like it. I think it just sets off the distress of the page. I like how the images, the sketched images, are coming through from below. And then, of course, we documented. And we documented what the challenge was, the date, the name. And then I want you to write, to journal your thoughts about the theme that you chose and the letter you chose. Maybe you chose A for art. So if you did, put appreciating art or art here and just write a little. You don't have to journal 10 pages. Just write a little statement about what art or in my case, architecture. And then I went in and I grunged the borders with a little bit of Distress stain. And because I had a matte coating on here, I was able to use my water and remove some of that so it was not overpowering, but still some of the distress is in here, especially on this page. So I'm all done with this. I'm very happy with how it turned out, and I hope that you are happy if you're following along actually doing a page with me. I hope that you are happy with what is happening on your page too. If you're just watching, I hope that it inspires you to create some art every day. And that's kind of one reason why we're doing this in steps. We're also doing it in steps, 5 techniques over 5 days in following with JB5s. But this is just kind of a takeoff on doing 5 techniques in 5 days. So I already know what I want to do for my 3rd challenge. Second JB5s Mystery Challenge, Summary Comments. I hope that you've enjoyed following along with this challenge. I would love to hear any of your thoughts or suggestions. Just leave a comment on this video. These challenges are often a mystery to me too, and I learn new things with each page I do. An example was the distressing technique. Totally unplanned. It was interesting to hear in the JB5 Facebook group where some of you collaged with a glue stick and still was able to achieve the distress technique. And one of you used cardstock as the base page and the distress technique worked with it. Another unplanned element for me was when I journaled on the back of the page. I wrote about appreciating architecture and realized during editing the video the word appreciate begins with an A. It fits. Then there was the unplanned fix of the misspelled word and the wonky capital I. I'm already planning the next mystery challenge. I learned from doing these too. On the next one, I'm going to try to make the first 2 days a little bit more interesting. These will still be setting up the base structure of the page, but well, in a way that I hope will keep your interest. Please feel free to follow along with me each day. Or if you want to wait until all 5 days are complete, that's okay too. Or if you're just watching, perfectly okay. Jump in anytime. It's fun for me to hear about your pages too. Everyone has a unique interpretation of the same techniques. That's what it's all about.